Welcome back to the MartiniWorks Podcast. We have Gels, Dakota, and myself at
Who the heck is that guy?
It's me. It's Lars.
No, it's Dakota.
Oh.
It's actually Dakota. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
he dyed his hair.
Dyed his hair, started eating Wiener Schnitzel, and decided that his favorite brand was BMW.
His favorite brand is BMW.
Yeah, he already owns one.
No, his favorite brand is Volkswagen. We
Yeah,
all
that's
know
true.
it, all right? Even though it's the wrong answer, which we're actually going to be talking about today, because Volkswagen apparently is talking about closing their factory in Germany, which has been big news. We're also going to spend a little bit of time talking about our update to our project cars, jumping into the fall, which is a very big deal, and also talking a little bit about some of the other news, such as Lotus doing absolutely horrendous right now, a little bit about what cars you should actually buy that make you look rich, but you're not, because apparently that's a trending topic on TikTok, and all of the cars that I see getting recommended make me want to be an Aston Martin repair mechanic, because I'm about to be fucking loaded by all these 20-year-olds buying them. Anyway, that being said, if you guys are looking for car parts, MartiniWorks.com. Thank you so much for the support. If you guys are wondering why a product page looks really good or doesn't look really good on the website, it's this guy's fault. Anything you'd like to tell the group?
Why are you assuming it's negative?
Oh,
You said false.
good or bad?
I'll
I'd
take
say
it.
it's sometimes a
Either or.
50-50.
That is me. That is me, yeah.
What's been your most exciting product added to the website so far, Lars?
Most exciting product? I was really excited to add work wheels. That was cool.
Yeah.
Like very
Also
few
became
people-
like our fastest moving brand.
We were moving work Kiwamis like every other day. It seemed
Butter.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Thanks for picking up good wheels.
Yeah, for real.
It was a lot of work by more than just me. Definitely more than
work.
Just me. Yeah. So we weren't sure if it was gonna be worth it or not, but you guys want works and we got them, so we love to do
We put in work.
Nice.
to get you work.
All right, you're allowed one more of those.
Okay, I'm sorry, but that's pretty cool. So, Lars, what is new, man? You're the guy with the E46 M3. You're the guy with the F80 M2.
F87.
F87 M2. Probably going to buy 9 other BMWs because apparently it's just in your blood. How have they been coming along?
Really good. We took the wrap off the M2
Looks
after
insane.
a year and a half. Yeah, I missed the blue. It was really nice. You can see all the shapes of it again. You can actually I have some
Shapes and
pictures-
colors.
I have some pictures now of the car with all the carbon on it, without the wrap. Nobody ever saw that car. Like the day after we put all the wing and stuff on it, the wrap went on. So,
How much work was it to take the wrap off?
Oh my god, it was miserable.
It is rough, isn't it?
It's
No matter
such
how
a
much
pain in the
heat
ass.
you use, it just always breaks. It always tears.
And-
it always hurts your fingers.
And to his credit, the guy who did the wrap, FX window tinting, they like went all out. They like took the bumper off. They like took the door handles off. So like it was in there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I wasn't aware of this until I tried to take it off. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, I remember taking the wrap off the RX-8 too, and it was like remembering of all the stuff that went into it when doing it. It's like I'm gonna have to take all that apart again to take
Yeah.
all this off. I think I rocked blue door handles for like a month just because I just didn't
wanna
want
do it.
to deal with it, and then finally I was like, all right, fine, I'll fucking deal with it.
Yeah, I put a big gouge on the door.
No.
I thought I was being clever, right? It was a little piece that I was trying to grab, but I couldn't grab it with my fingers tight enough. So I grabbed some needle nose pliers. I was like, this will get me a lever.
Lars.
Oh, Lars.
Bad idea. Don't do that. Just take the door handles off.
There's a couple things that I've seen in terms of when people unwrap their cars. There is an experience that you had, which is, wow, I really missed this color. This is really nice. It's like Christmas all over again. And the second, more majority experience when folks don't get their stuff wrapped by somebody like Joran is, oh my God, they fucking cut my clear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you see it all the time. My old 996, the guy that wrapped it, he actually like fled the state and shut down all his businesses and locked all his Facebook accounts. And it seems
that
like
was a-
most rap folks seem to like get ran out of the state that they live in, and then they just all
Yeah.
universally reconvene in Las Vegas. And it was the same thing. I remember the guy took off the wrap because I told him, because I had this huge distressed wrap on my 996 Turbo. I was like, hey, man, just so you know, there was a really bad situation with this wrap individual. I have a feeling that if you were to unwrap it, you're going to uncover things. I'm trying to be totally honest with you. I don't know what's under there, but chances are you might find something. And the guy was like Australian, so I'll do my best Australian accent. He was like, oi, mate, don't worry about it, okay? I'll just deal with it. No problem at all. Is that pretty good?
It was okay.
All right.
alright.
I'm really.
I've heard worse.
Wasn't great.
I've asked ChatGPT to help me, and
How
that's
is a
what they-
text-based app going to help you with an accent?
Well, tell me. I don't know. Anyway, so he said that, and then he peeled off. I remember he peeled off like a section of it, and he just sent me a picture. He's like, "Oi, shit's fucked," and I was like, "I'm so sorry, man." And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. It's just it's the track car, so I'm just gonna keep it back on. It just kind of got loose." I was like, "All right, whatever." Then he sends me a picture like 2 weeks later of it completely totaled because
Yeah.
a lady T-boned him.
I was going to say, was that before or after it got
Yeah.
absolutely destroyed?
I remember even when you still had it, when I was like following you on a highway or something, the roof would like bubble up over the sunroof or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, really?
It created like a bubble.
Yeah, there's like
behind.
it was like a nice little.
weird.
It looked like an air vent that went to
Yeah.
the back of the motor, except it went nowhere.
It was just
that wrap was
vinyl.
always a mess. It looked awesome. Like, don't get me wrong, the design was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It was a disaster.
Yeah, that was a crazy situation. I remember like the first like person like unwrapped the car and they're like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, that was
Not
it's-
good.
It's
And then the second person, they're like, "Oh yeah, mine too." And we were just all looking at Alex like, "You got yours wrapped by him, didn't you?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're
I
just
actually-
not gonna ever take it off."
I got a case in the mail from a local lawyer that they were putting together like almost like a group lawsuit, I guess, against
Class action.
him, class action lawsuit. And yeah, I never actually heard anything that came from that. I think again because he just ran away
ran
from
away.
his
He's gone.
problems, which seems to be like the MO. But if you are wrapping your car from a shop and that shop is a new shop or that shop doesn't have reviews yet, I would urge caution with your car because it seems like it's one of those things where the wrap shop will last as long as the time it takes for you to decide that you no longer want the wrap. Because when you take it off and you realize there's all those problems, that company just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So
I would also say support the ones who do good work though.
yeah,
Because
absolutely.
Jordan did the M2 and he's since done the M3 also. I don't know. Those videos are out now, right? You guys saw the delivery of that. And he did a fantastic job. I asked him to just do the whole back end like flat blue. I was like, eventually I'd love this checkered pattern. And 2 hours later, he calls me over and says, "Hey, check out this checkered pattern." I was like, "Hell
Did it.
yeah!"
yeah. Jordan's a really good dude. He wrapped the S2000 in 48 hours back in April. So
Yeah.
he gives all the credit and love, and he's a really hard worker. If you guys are up in Wisconsin, he's growing like a weed, which is awesome. He does very good work. He is tougher to get a hold of because he is so busy. So be patient with him, especially right now, because I think a lot of folks are getting like their PPF and all that stuff getting ready
suppose
for
ready for
winter
winter.
time,
Yeah.
which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, the
Gels?
PPF stuff has gone crazy. I feel like that's like, yeah,
It's-
everyone I know is like, "Oh yeah, I gotta take my car to get PPF." Like that's just a huge thing.
It's
I
nice.
don't know if
Yeah.
I quite understand the concept of PPFing the entire car.
The entire car is probably a bit
Yeah,
much.
Because now you're just like okay,
Mm-hmm.
you might as well just put one of those leather bras on the front.
right.
You know what I mean? Bring her back to
Oh
2004
my God.
Mustang.
Oh my god, the Corvettes.
I do have a non-automotive confession
Okay.
that I need to make on the podcast.
no.
I want to tell you guys about my father, Oscar Blake.
Oh, here
This is gonna be good.
He's from Matamoros, Mexico.
Already.
Half my family is from Mexico.
I hope it's not
And my dad learned English out of the English-Spanish dictionary when he moved up to work for Atari when he was like 22, 23 years old.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah, so he didn't know any English, lived in San Francisco for a little bit, and then actually moved up to Chippewa Falls to work at Cray Supercomputer, where he helped work on the computer for the Apollo missions, which was pretty rad. My dad was pretty smart, but he didn't know very good English, and so he learned it out of a dictionary, which causes all sorts of incredible analogies and sentences to get formulated that are always 90% right. And if you've ever listened to me talk about things sometimes, I'm the same way. I'm on it, and then just one word in that sentence is very off.
Yeah.
Well, I was filming a video last week, and I had two cameras set up, one directly at me, just like you're looking at me now, and one over the shoulder. And the point was that I was unboxing this thing, and I wanted the camera to kind of be that second set of eyes. And Dakota wasn't quite understanding how I wanted the camera set up. And so I explained to him very similarly to how my dad explained it to me. And I said, well, like have the camera over your shoulder, like an over-the-shoulder boulder holder. And Dakota looks at me and he goes, what? And I doubled down. I was like, yeah, like an over-shoulder boulder holder, like a when you're playing football and they
Oh.
throw the football and they throw it over your shoulder and then you catch it. And it was at that moment that Dakota looked at Gels for affirmation that he is in fact not psychotic.
One of us is wrong. I'm not sure which one it is.
But I was so confident that it required a second, individual to make sure that I was saying something wrong. Well, turns out I was 30 years old when I learned that an over-the-shoulder boulder holder is not, in fact, a football catch.
No.
It is a brassiere.
Yes. Very much.
Oh,
Lars didn't know that either.
I didn't finish Googling it. I knew that wasn't a real football term. I did not finish.
Yeah.
I did not
See,
figure out what
you're
it actually
from
is.
Germany, so you're kind of close in terms of the immigrant kind of not understand.
yeah.
So my dad looked at me, and because I had him up this weekend.
Oh,
on
yeah, how'd
Sunday,
that
and
conversation
we were going
go?
to Menards. I was like, I just want you to know you kind of screwed me a little bit. And he's like, what do you mean, mijo? And I said,
I should have asked him.
I was like, you said over-the-shoulder boulder holder like a football term, and he just goes, ah. Oh, I did do that, didn't I? Yeah, okay. Yeah. He goes, yeah, it's a bra. And I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. I went my whole life thinking that was a football catch. So, yeah, that's my story for the day.
I appreciate you coming out with that because that really threw me for a loop there.
I can always promise something weird in a sentence every once in a while. But what's new with the RX-8? What's new with the Grom gels? What's new with the S chassis
With the
that
fleet?
still doesn't seem to have had anything done this summer?
Where is
Yeah.
it?
What do you mean? Where is it?
It was here to get fixed. and
I think I might have kicked him out because he just refused to put it on the schedule.
Yeah, I put it on the lift and realized that like 2 of the 6 axle bolts that I replaced and bought like expensively from Nissan were just gone.
That was awesome.
Again, or like 4 of the 6 were just gone again.
How does that even?
I don't know. I don't
Nissan,
really know.
baby. Nissan. You
So I
don't know it
replaced-
till you have it.
Replace those again in hopes that would fix the weird clunking noise in the rear. Didn't. So I'm just gonna have to go through like the entire drivetrain at this point. I guess I don't know if it's like a U joint. I don't know if it's something with the diff. I don't know what it is. Yeah, that car just continues to.
I know how to fix it.
I already know. I know. I had a very, very realistic and vivid dream that I sold that car the other morning. Like I literally woke up, went out to the garage to like get something. I'm like, why is this still here?
Gels, that's
I
called
sold this car.
That's scary.
Like it was like I remember like having the interaction with the guy. He like took it for a test drive. We like talked about it. He paid like a decent amount for it. I was happy with it. I was like, I don't have to deal with this anymore.
That's
that
called-
was like a weight lift off my shoulder. And then I woke up. I was like, fuck.
That means it's
Sounds
time.
like reality. That's called an epiphany, Gels. Okay, a being came down and said, "You do not seem to get the hint. Let me help you."
Yeah.
And just kind of fiddled that into your brain there.
Yeah.
Come on,
You were
dude.
happier that morning, weren't you?
Yeah, you felt better that morning, didn't you?
A little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's
It
time.
made me think about some things. I don't know. So yeah, there's that. RX-8, obviously we got Gatlinburg coming up. I'm looking at bringing that car back down for a little bit of redemption from last year. Maybe actually get to go cruise with friends instead of fixing a brake rotor or a brake caliper on the side of the
That was a
mountain.
mess.
So yeah, I still want to get some things ready for that. So I'm gonna replace like the brake rotor that got completely fucked from that. Do new brake pads. I want to get some of the belts replaced because then I don't have to worry about it squealing at me when I'm running the AC when it's inevitably 100 degrees down there during the day.
Yep.
Yeah, so just kind of getting that all tidied up, driving it. It's fun. Miss that car. I don't know
That's
why I haven't
super cool.
drove it. I've been driving the Grom a lot.
That's awesome. Well, it's good to get the days on the Grom because
Yeah.
those are pretty limited. Just so
Yeah.
you guys know, we are going to be at Slammed Enough Gatlinburg /
Seaverville.
Seaverville, and we have a very, very cool booth design that we're working on that we're going to try to get set up. So be sure if you guys are planning on going down, check out the Martini Works booth. We've got some really cool new rad designs that we're doing, t-shirts
Yeah.
and sweatshirts, and we've got some really limited stuff. And we have a little surprise, hopefully, on the GTT that will be done by then.
What could
because
that be?
I'm not bringing the 430 this year. I'm bringing the Gloria.
I mean, you're bringing the 430.
No, I'm not bringing the 430.
No, we're gonna drive it down.
Oh, I only have the GTT and the Gloria only. And those are both booth cars. But I think I'm going to be cruising around the GTT this weekend, or the Gatlinburg.
Oh, so
weekend.
you're not bringing the 430 at all?
Well, because we only had so many spaces on the trailer, and this would require Dara to drive Becca's car down. And just for the price and the miles and this, that, and the other thing, I'd rather just sacrifice the 430 spot
Sure.
and let Becca's M4 take that spot instead so that she doesn't have to worry about Dare driving it down, and then Becca having to drive it back.
You know what?
And,
You're a gentleman.
I'm a pretty
Real gentleman.
when it comes to cars, I'm pretty selfish. I would bring every single one of them if I could.
I mean, that's usually what we do.
So I thought it was, I kind of put that in my diary so that if I ever meet Peter tonight by accident, I'm like, I did do something good. This is the one selfless thing I
I
did.
respect that.
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
a
There's
nice
like
guy.
6 things in there since the beginning of the year, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thank you.
New record.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm excited for Gatlinburg. I think even without the 430 there, we're going to have a pretty sweet lineup of cars. It's going to be a big group, fun group, awesome booth. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Should be a good time.
Yeah, nothing's really changed on the Ford. It's a cool car, and I know people like it, and I'm super appreciative for all the support. But just in terms of like, all of my friends have also gotten cooler cars over the years. So like a couple years ago, I'd be like, hey, does anybody want to drive, like some of the cars, which is such a cool feeling, by the way. There's no better feeling than having your friends like drive your cars, especially when they're respectful. And it used to be like, yeah, let's do it, And Chris used to drive one. Chanel used to drive one. Mark used to drive one. Hamby used to drive one. Like there used to be, and now they've all got their own cars. And now they're like,
This is awesome.
I kind of want to drive my own. I'm like, dude, totally get it, absolutely. But it's like, okay, well now we gotta leave one or two behind. So the good news is the Gloria will be down there, which we're really really excited for, and the GTT will be down there as well, which we're really excited for too. So
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see both those down there. Be a little bit different vibe, and I think we're trying to find someone as well that would like to be a part of the Martini Works booth for that.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting too. So I know we're probably going to be doing a little bit of outreach there.
Yeah, if you have
a really dope like 90s JDM car specifically, and you're going to be in that area and would like to be in a booth at Slammed of Seaverville, let us know.
Yeah, we're doing a kind of like a summer concourse a little bit there.
Yeah.
So we really are trying to find something unique. It doesn't have to be the craziest, trimmed version of a JDM car, but we are looking for something that has a very unique story, maybe is a little bit different. So if that sounds like your jam, shoot us a DM on Instagram or hit us up in the chat in MartiniWorks.com, and we'll take a look at it. Because I think we have one spot.
Yeah.
We have at least one spot.
Yeah, because we're trying to save as much space as we can for all of the activities.
Yeah, we'll have the GTT, we'll have the Gloria, we're going to have the sim rig spots.
Yep.
So you guys have some stuff to do, or hopefully have a place for you to plant your butt after walking around the event for 5 hours. Because there's just no seating in that goddamn place. And everyone
Absolutely.
just sits along the wall and
Everyone gets bonus points if you manage to sneak in Red Bulls for us.
ooh yeah.
I will sign your child if you bring me. Red
We are
Bulls.
getting to that age, huh?
Yeah,
People got to start
I've
showing
si-
up all
I've
these
signed
events
a
with
baby.
strollers. Yeah.
We're
I've
getting
signed a
old.
baby once. One time.
Would you do it again?
No, it felt like child abuse. I just wouldn't do it again.
All right. Well, on that note,
Non-consent signature babies. On that note, let's talk about our primary partner for the Martini Works podcast, which is none other than Continental. You guys have heard us talk about it since day one. Really excited for this. As we are getting into the fall and winter season, though, you're going to see us kind of stop talking about the ECS02 as much. And the reason for that is it's a very high performance track and summer tire. You can put DWS on that boy if you want. DWS06 has obviously a little bit of that performance too, but I'm gonna be honest with you. If you got snow and where you live gets below 40 degrees, you need to get yourself a set of winter tires. And the Viking Contact 7s are absolutely kick-ass tires. I know it's an investment because they're not cheap. Winter tires typically aren't, but they are completely unique in the way that they're built and their tread design, what they're capable of handling, and how they react with your car. I'm going to be honest with you. We have gone through blizzards up here in Wisconsin. We objectively have some of the worst weather in the United States is in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and those that would just argue we're part of Canada. And to have Viking Contact 7s on a Jetta, on a GTI, on literally any BMW you could possibly imagine, you don't have to worry. It feels like you're driving on a normal asphalt road at 50 miles an hour, and that cannot be compared to any all-season or any summer tire that we've ever ran in the wintertime.
And that goes for rear-wheel drive cars too. I know there's a lot of hype about all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive in the snow. Winter tires will transform your rear-wheel drive car. I've been driving the M2 through winter for the last 3 years now, through like 6, 8, 10 inches of snow. It's a game changer. A good set of winter tires will completely change your outlook on snow.
Yeah, it will also make you a more confident driver, which is such a weird thing to say. But when the car does what it's supposed to do when there's a blizzard, you start to realize why so many people love Subarus on winter tires. So if you guys are looking for a set, let us know. We do have them on the website. And if you need a size that you're not seeing, just hit up our chat at MartiniWorks.com. You're probably going to be talking to Carissa or Hamby. They'd be happy to help you out. Get them now before everything gets really wonky for availability. Continental only makes so many because they don't want to hold on to any winter tires, which means the stock is great, but it typically doesn't last very long. But thank you, Continental, for being a part of the Martini Works podcast. And Carissa, bless you. All right. Okay, let's jump into it. I have a question for you guys. I've seen it quite a bit. The Grand Tour kind of had its last huzzah.
Yeah.
With the OG hosts. Hurrah, huzzah, whatever. Same thing. Same but different. With Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May. 1, did you watch the Grand Tour? And 2, what do you think about Amazon continuing the show with new hosts? Be honest. Don't lie to me.
1, I did not. I'm not a real car enthusiast. I'm exposed. I did not watch it. Sorry. 2, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird that they would continue because it's kind of the same thing like with Top Gear too. It's like they continued that after the guys that started it left, and then they went and started something new.
Yep.
And now they're leaving, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll just throw new people." And it's like, just let it die. Just let it die.
I don't understand media outlets like plan when they go to swap out hosts because they suck at it. Objectively, I could be a marketing consultant for them through Meta Martini and make hundreds of thousands of dollars with this very, very simple plan. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Clarkson. You're definitely James May, and you're Richard Hammond.
Wait, what?
Now, we are exiting Top Gear. We are exiting the Grand Tour. What we should do is we should start to slowly introduce the new goddamn hosts in the existing season.
No.
So that people get comfortable with the new personalities.
No. Blindside them.
Or we just randomly fucking throw some new folks in there and just completely disregard any sort of sense of emotional attachment to folks that we've been watching for quite literally almost goddamn 30 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, I can go back and watch every single Top Gear episode from when I was like a wee child to now. Every single time I buy a new car, you want to know the first video I watch? Did Top Gear do a review on it?
Yep.
When I got the 430, I went and listened to Jeremy Clarkson fucking ramble on about how the 360 was better, but the 430 was faster.
Oh, that's funny because you should watch his 458 review because he also talked about how the 430 was crap.
He hates the 430 and loved the 458 and the 360.
Damn.
And he also, he's got some weird taste. Okay, listen, I don't agree with it all, but that's how you fix it. Because I think if they introduced hosts in the previous season and like kind of bolted them up with each other, I think the audience would be more receptive to it.
I think there's some truth to that because that's how Richard came onto the show back in the day, right? It was just James and Jeremy back early days, like before they were really famous, and then the trio kind of took off together. But I think no matter what you do though, that chemistry that they have and just how goofy the three of them are, especially together, that's always gonna be hard to replicate. Like the new version of Top Gear was not bad; it was just not that magic that what billions of people watch, quite literally. So like I'm a fan of Chris Harris, for example. Like I think his review style is awesome. I think I appreciate his taste in cars a lot. He's not goofy like Jeremy. It's not the same character.
Yeah, there's a sense of character in the OG3. I would say I think out of my favorite, I've really enjoyed watching Richard Hammond kind of share his own stories through Drive Tribe and things like that. And also he just has such a great storytelling that I always kind of inspired to have when I was young, and even as I get into making my own videos and stuff like that, he always does a good job with it. Jeremy Clarkson is just absolutely hilarious, like all the time. Even when he doesn't try to be, he's just constantly hilarious. And now he's got a pub.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
He makes beer.
He makes beer in a no-name town that's now automatically like the most popular no-name town out there. I just think that's incredible. Mm-hmm. I saw another TikTok where Jeremy Clarkson was trying to get into his Lamborghini that he was either he had it on rent or on watch, and somebody was recording him. I don't know if it was like his son or something like that. No. And he's like, shit.
Yeah.
He's just like, no, get in the car. And he's like,
I don't want to.
What's that? Look, that's really, really cool. And they filmed the 45-second process of Jeremy getting into the car.
But nobody looks cool getting out of a Lamborghini.
No.
It's impossible. Or into one. Because you either just fall in or you fall to the ground on your way out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's why you should get an Audi R8. We should all just start driving R8s.
All right.
Simple as
I'm
that.
down. I like R8s.
You heard it here. Alex is buying us R8s.
Group R8s.
What do we have to do to get us all R8s?
We need a couple more folks to pick up their wheel and tire packages from MartiniWorks.com. If you could. The good news is we're not going to shell out that money to a bunch of stakeholders that don't know their ass from their elbow. So the good news is as we continue to grow, we grow it with you guys, which is kind of a joke.
What?
But it's really not.
It's not a joke.
It's a joke. What are you saying?
We can have community R8s.
We could rent them out to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be an award, right? If we could have contests and they could come here to Appleton, Wisconsin, and they could drive the community R8
Appleton's actually a destination.
For what?
too.
because we're here.
They ain't fucking apples.
Well, first off,
That is
Green Bay
confusing.
Packers.
That's
Look it up.
30 miles north, but yeah.
Anything within an hour is ours.
It's Green Bay. I say I lived in Green Bay for a handful of years. I liked it
Where in Green Bay did you like it?
everywhere.
Really?
I loved Green Bay. Green
I've-
Bay was fantastic.
I've heard Green Bay ain't the best. I heard it's a little sketchy.
Appleton has sketchy areas.
Yeah, I would say
No,
I'd say I've
Appleton's
been
got
more-
like 3 streets.
been more sketched out in Appleton than I have been in Green
Really?
Bay. Oh,
When I
yeah.
moved to Appleton, I lived in the sketchy neighborhood.
I love Green Bay though. I thought we enjoyed it there, and I don't know. It was game days were always something else.
That's true. I remember the first time when I moved to Appleton. It was my first time moving out of town, and I realized I thought I got a nice apartment, spent a lot of money, and was like, Becca's gonna love this. You know, it's an upgrade from our apartment in Appleton. And I realized that when you get a nicer apartment, you rent from absolute prudes. And then I realized I hated renting.
Yeah.
Don't rent.
Yeah. Well, if you, I don't know. I don't know.
In the back in the day, it was easier to get a house.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
100%.
fucking
Yeah. It's a freaking war zone out there right now. I don't even know how to navigate it. But where the hell is I going with that?
I don't know. I was going to talk about how COVID ruined everything, but I feel like we're past that.
Yeah. That's whatever.
Is it?
Anyway.
So, with that being said, we're going to talk about Lotus.
Okay.
Bring it
Yeah,
in.
hit
Let's
me
bring
with
it over
that.
to Lotus. So, I caught some news. Lotus is having a tough time.
Uh-oh.
Wait, was this this year, last year, 5 years ago?
Who's buying Lotuses right now?
When's the last time you saw a Lotus on the street?
Actually, I do see one all the
There's one in
fucking
Appleton
time.
for some
yeah.
odd reason.
And he's always driving, which fair enough.
There's somebody out here with a Lotus that drives that thing every day. And then there's somebody with a gray Gen 1 R8 that I swear to God, he has a full-time job from 8 to 1
Driving College Ave.
driving College Avenue
man
with
loves
his
his car.
Audi R8. He loves that car.
That's
He
gonna
loves
be
that
us.
car more than Audi loves it. Yeah, that's there's going to be 3 of them out there from 8 to 1 once we have our communal R8s, tell you that much. But no, Lotus apparently had record sales because they did have some really good growth. But they've also lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, or I think it's hundreds of millions. Let me check the
Wait.
really clickbaity title.
Well, was it last year that the
What's going
Emira
on?
was shipped finally? I think that was last year, right?
Yeah, so they had a new one that just,
The Emira.
yeah, that one was cool. Yeah, so they were expected to deliver 26,000 cars this year, which is good.
Good amount.
That's
Yeah.
not
For-
a lot. I don't. Think
It's
that's
not a
good.
lot.
But for like that type of car, though,
Yeah, it's not a lot.
that's
Yeah, so
not
they said
bad.
Lotus Tech suffered a net loss of hundreds. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not hundreds of thousands. It's hundreds of millions in the second quarter of 2024. That they say this Lotus's foray into electric cars has had a rocky start. They're saying that the company sold 4,800 cars globally so far this year, which is up from last year. I'm looking at an ad apparently for some reason, but unfortunately, they've also reported a $202 million loss for the quarter.
But I think
Damn.
Lotus keeps screwing this up because they have such a good brand, right? Everybody knows when you say Lotus, you know exactly what you're getting into. But because they're so different, if they would just partner with somebody, right, and source some of the parts from some other brand that already makes a little sports car, like a Mazda. Imagine if Lotus partnered with a Mazda.
Ooh.
Like that'd be great. Like suspension components, some body panels, interiors, maybe get their whole interior stuff, and then Lotus just focuses on suspension and engine.
You know what's hilarious about who they're blaming? This is great.
Oh, they're blaming
Who
someone.
are they blaming? This is
Despite a huge jump in revenue to accompany the sales, right?
Yeah.
Lotus's net loss has only widened. The company says the increase in loss comes from selling and marketing expenses. related to its expansion. That Lotus admin on TikTok was making hundreds of millions of dollars, and it is all your fault. I think his name is Kai.
I can't. I remember.
If your name is Kai, you are a millionaire, my guy, and they are blaming you for their widened loss on Lotus sales. You single-handedly brought more awareness to that brand through shit memes and awesome posts, and they're blaming you for why they're not doing
I
well.
remember when that was going on. Everyone's like, "What the fuck is going on?" I love it.
He was like one of the original
Like
name
shit
brand
poster,
shit
yeah.
posters in a good way.
Yeah.
Did you ever see those?
I'm not on TikTok.
Oh yeah, you're.
Man, Lars missed out on the
Sounds interesting.
the golden age of Lotus marketing tactics.
Yeah, now it's garbage, dude.
Like,
It's so bad.
But I think if they just focus on making good, affordable cars,
You,
sports cars,
second word that you just said. What was the second word?
Affordable?
You missed it. Lotus is already fucked.
well, but because they keep investing hundreds of millions apparently into this technology that they shouldn't be reinventing, they're
They
not
don't-
big enough.
Take a click out of Maz's book. Just remake the Elise forever.
Think about what Toyota did with Subaru, right? What Toyota did with BMW, right? Like it works. Partner with another brand that let them do the research and then license it. Like it works. Just do it.
Honestly, Mercedes would open up their entire book to
So
Lotus.
essentially, what you're saying is like, they're like, "Hey, we spent way too much on marketing and advertising, but we sold more cars.
But somehow that's marketing's fault. Does that sound familiar to you?
How the
at
hell?"
all?
Like, hey, we had a record number of cars sold, but we lost a shit ton of money because of all the marketing. But
Flashbacks.
Yeah, that doesn't sound familiar.
EA spend is out of control.
Yeah, it's your fault actually for profits not being up. If
Hey, I know you did your job and you sold a bunch of cars for us, but what the fuck, dude?
If you put the Lotus logo in the TikTok ad, it would have sold more Lotuses. So we're going to have to exit you. Next guy that comes in,
my God.
I need you to make this meme go viral. It's a slideshow of Emiras, different colors. And you're going to say,
Just put
tastes like the rainbow with the rainbow emoji. Please make this go viral.
and put a silly song behind it. It's gonna go crazy. But
But make sure it's a commercial sound.
you can't be copyright though.
Yeah, and make sure it doesn't have any bad words,
Dude,
especially the racist ones.
It's insane how it's just a constant fucking rinse and repeat.
You would-
Every time something like
ongoing?
this happens.
We're talking about how this has happened in every industry.
Everywhere.
It just blows
It's the
my.
same thing.
It's almost iconic that a multi-million-dollar, hundreds of millions of dollars, downright billion-dollar
Yeah, yeah.
is making the same mistake
Yeah.
as everyone else. You would think somebody along the lines would be like, "Hey guys, that COVID money, it's not real."
It doesn't exist.
I bet you Lotus was bought out by some private equity fund.
Watch that come forward. I wouldn't be surprised.
Honestly, the Lotus has a great platform. It does. It was awesome. I remember driving a Lotus Elise S, I think it was,
I've heard the mirror is great too.
and the mirror is great. And I remember driving and thinking to myself, this thing should not even be a street car. This should just be a track car
Yeah.
because it is downright uncomfortable, so awkward,
Yeah, they're raw. Yeah.
but incredible. And then I realized you go out on marketplaces or ads back in the day, and it was like you could find one in that blazing orange.
Oh yeah. Iconic.
Gorgeous
the stuff.
color, with 32,000 miles, 35,000 miles. And you want to know how much it was?
How much?
30 grand.
Damn.
You could find another Lotus Elise
I'm gonna
with
go get
120,000 miles in silver. You want to know how much it costs?
30 grand.
$30,000.
Yeah.
Because there were only so many anywhere you looked, there was like this communal agreement that if you sold an Elise, it was $30,000.
Sure.
Yep.
And that was awesome because if you wanted to get one of the best track cars you could possibly get, you knew you were saving up 30 grand and you're getting a Lotus Elise. Nowadays, I look at Lotus and I'm like, that is like a 6-figure car.
And
That's
that's
like a $120,000 car. What happened to affordable sports car?
right. That's the problem, right? You now have a car that's priced with like Porsche Caymans.
Yeah.
That nobody knows, that nobody can service, that nobody can do anything with, right? And like you just get a Porsche.
Yeah. They put themselves in a weird place.
At $100,000, you can buy a lot of car from a
Yeah.
lot of different manufacturers. You can get Corvettes, right? Like there's
Dodge Vipers.
Dodge Vipers, R8s. You can get an R8 for $100,000.
Yeah.
It's always so weird when everything comes back to the conversation of price because it's like really that's where the FRS, BRZ, BR86.
Oh, you see 'em
they have
fucking everywhere.
Such a good spot in the market because nobody's really competing with them. I don't think, outside of maybe a Hyundai or a Kia, right? That's probably the closest price comparable. Yeah. And even that's like higher 30s.
It's like rear-wheel drive sports coupe.
Manual.
What do you got?
The only people
that's new.
Mazda's the only other one, right? The Miata. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's the
but
thing.
even that, yeah.
The new Miata is very much, I feel as if it's more capturing a little bit of an older demographic than a younger demographic. Sure. The GRD6 is, in my opinion, outside of the motor, it's gorgeous too.
That is like it's a very universal car.
If you own a GRD6, you got something special because those cars are awesome. They look fantastic. They're gonna last forever.
Well,
the problem is Subaru engines do not last forever, and now they're having more issues.
Yeah,
than ever before.
As they're getting older, they're older. I say it's like they've been out for like 2.5 years, but like as people are driving them more, getting more miles on them, they're starting to pop left and right, and it's like a mix of the RTV issues, still fucking oil starvation, all that stuff just is combining, and it's just not good.
If you guys have an idea on what you think is the best kind of newer version of a sports coupe manual, then you think we're missing out on.
Yeah,
like you think we're completely wrong. Let us know in the comments or just send us a message on our Instagram at MartiniWorks. Follow along because we're doing a whole bunch of stuff. But I just don't know if we're wrong on this one. Like I don't know if there's anything else out there.
No, absolutely not. Like there's a lot of stuff that's creeping into the $30,000 range that used to be very expensive, right? Like Mustang GTs and Camaro SSs and stuff like that. But yeah, nothing new fun is under 35 grand except for those cars.
Yeah.
The thing that I found a little hilarious because I did a video talking about GR Corollas starting on fire.
Yes.
That went very well. People watched a lot of people watched that video.
Oh, yeah.
And then I started getting messages in from various individuals and dealers and folks. The good ones were people saying, "Hey, really like the video. My car also started on fire."
Oh my God.
And I was like, holy shit. I got 3 of those. 3 individuals.
What
the fuck?
That's too many.
Who reached out to me and like, I have a GR Corolla, started on fire. I have a GR Corolla, started on fire. I have a GR Corolla, started on fire. So I'm like compiling these stories. Then I had emails from dealers that were like, hey, we saw your video. We just want you to know that not all dealers are bad. Okay? And we, any GR Corolla that comes into our dealership does not get treated like those other like protecting themselves because obviously the story's expanding.
Are you aware of the Reddit page Nice Guys?
No.
Yes.
That is like there needs to be something like that for car dealers. Like I'm not like other car dealerships. I'm actually a nice car dealership. We don't treat you like that.
Oh
anyway, send me nudes. Like it's just fucking, oh my God.
It's so cringy because
not all car dealerships. Okay, cool, dude.
Why are you emailing me?
When a Corolla starts on fire in your district, take care of it.
Yeah, simple as that.
Yeah, I don't care if you're a good or bad car dealership. Fuck off. GR Corollas are starting on fire and they're not doing anything about it.
Exactly.
I had one guy, and I wish I remembered his name. Maybe he's listening, but he sent me a huge email talking about why he thinks the cars are starting on fire.
Okay.
He talked about all of his experience kind of working on
If they
Toyotas and then
narrowed it down at all.
Well, we're kind of on the same page with where we think something could potentially be happening. A lot of these cars are getting, when they go in for service, some of them are reporting some like fueling issues, some fueling irregularities. And there's certain clips and systems that obviously come up and go into the engine. And so those clips and components are plastic. And what a lot of the people are saying is they're not necessarily they may not be heat treated as well as they should be. And what's causing, as the car heats up, cools down, heats up, cools down, heats up, cools down, it's causing some warping and it's causing a gas leak. And that gas leak is causing the fire in comparison with the turbocharger and the oil pressure. I don't know if that's true. We have absolutely nothing to go off of. But what I do know is that it's not stopping. Because I went out to the GR86 forums to make a GR86 video, and every goddamn post is my car blew up, and Toyota won't honor the warranty.
Yeah, I mean, that's been like that since the get-go. With the whole RTV thing, it's like I literally drove it off the lot, went to the track day that you gave me for free that came with the car. Car fucking blew up because it put too much goddamn gasket material on it. what are you going to do about it? And they're like, well, nothing, because you took it to the track.
What's weirdest, the weirdest part about all that to me is like the deniers, the people who buy these cars and refuse to acknowledge that they have a problem with it. It's like they want, like on your post, right? I commented and said between this and the GR86 problem, Toyota needs to figure this out, or they're going to lose a reputation for making great sports cars, which Toyota's made phenomenal sports cars throughout their entire history.
And it's not like we're just pulling, like, it's not like, it's like, oh, I'm reading all this and I'm taking it as fact.
Yeah.
We had a GR86. I dropped the fucking oil pan on it, and I picked a good amount of RTV out of the oil pickup screen.
Right, but talk about it, like acknowledge that it's a thing, right? Otherwise, Toyota will just keep rejecting these if they're one-offs, right? If they don't understand how big this problem is, and you just suck it up and deal with it, like if
and they're hoping that happens.
There's just this reoccurring thing of just we're just not going to talk about it, we're not going to address it, we're not going to say yes or no, we're just going to ignore it, and it'll just disappear. And the fucked up part is it kind of does.
And if yours hasn't blown up yet, good for you, right? If your buddies
awesome.
did,
I don't want your car to blow up.
Like, it's okay.
The thing that I'm starting to realize, and I'm on the internet enough, not a good thing, not my proudest moment to say on a podcast, but my job is learning about what's happening in the car community, and Toyota is tarnishing their reputation because their truck line has been getting weaker. It's been getting cheaper. It's been getting more noticeable that they're cutting corners. Something's happening in Toyota's truck division. Then you head over to their sports car division and Toyota's warranty department and Toyota Gazoo Racing's partnership. They are very clearly not on the same page because the GRD6 is having issues. They're getting refused warranties. The GR Corollas are getting issues. They're refusing warranties. And the reasoning is so corporate and so counter to what Gazoo Racing was really entitled to do with the GR86, with the Supra, with the Corolla. It's insane. Like, you shouldn't... It almost makes me upset because these cars are getting destroyed, and Toyota's like, yeah... Listen, we actually looked at your incognito tab on your computer, and we saw that you drove it aggressively a couple times, and therefore we can't honor your warranty.
How they get access to that?
What sort of backstabbing bullshit is that? I just think it's so garbage. That's the one thing that I got to say. Nissan doesn't have that right now. Nissan doesn't have that right now.
That's because no one's buying the damn car.
Well, and they've replaced how many engines in like the new VQs? The engines in the Z, right? Like in the Infinity lineup, right? There's people we've heard of that are on their third, fourth engines or whatever.
But they've replaced them.
And exactly, right? All the credit to them. If it has a problem, fix it and handle it and make the next version better.
That's the one thing I've always enjoyed about Nissan is Nissan's been always very receptive to when they build something doesn't really work or it's causing issues, and they're not always perfect at handling it, but they have been monumentally better
talk about it
than Toyota because the same thing happened with the R35 when it got released
with the
transmissions and the launch control, and they continue to refine until finally they got to it, the right version in 2013, I think it was, and it's like good. You know what I mean? That's awesome. But Nissan didn't hide when those things were happening.
No,
they're like, yes, it's happening. Please stop launching the car repetitively. For the love of God, we've told you not to do it now. We understand you can. We made a mistake. Stop launching the car, please.
I remember it's really fun. Just be nice to it a couple days.
I remember when Mario got his, and he was just launching it nonstop. And every time I'm like, I would just like. I'm like, it's gonna break, it's fucking break. And like, I'd see him like, he'd like do it, like leaving work, you could hear like, I'm like, it's gonna fucking break. It's like, I'm ready for there just to be a fucking trail of metal, like on the ground. And it didn't.
It's intoxicating though, because when I drove my friend's GTR, right, we took it out like through his road, right, to a parking lot. And the whole, they chatter, they make all the double and stuff. Like, oh, this feels weird, right? But you're like figuring out how to use launch control, and I did like 3 launches figuring out how to launch it, and I finally like Googled it, and I was like, oh, I did this all wrong, right? And each of those were hard launches.
Yeah.
And then I finally figured it out, and I was like, oh my god, this thing moves. But in the meantime, I'm beating the crap out of this thing, trying to figure out how to beat it harder.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell are you doing to me?
Axles,
and I think the transmission in the GTR or the R35, I'm sorry, is non-serviceable. So when it does go, you have to do a complete replacement of the transmission.
Yeah, it was a whole. I remember a whole thing.
I can't remember if you guys have an R35. I'm sure you'll let me know. I just remember that they were like, because they're like, I'll just, if it goes out, I'll just replace the inside and we'll be good to go. And they're like, nope, you must get a completely new component.
Was it I can't remember it exactly. Was it the transmission or was it like the whole like differentials and everything, like transfer cases?
Well, I don't
was it?
recall. I know the biggest thing was the transmission.
Okay.
Essentially, it couldn't handle the repeat abuse, and so Nissan had to fix that. But they also had to fix essentially the launch control, and I think they actually added a buffer of time that you could do it on
Back to
repeat.
pull it
through
all.
the
Yeah,
ECU,
that's right.
Which
Yep,
was really smart. And I think when they released the car, they're like, people won't launch the car back to back to back to back to back to back to back, and then they did.
Right.
Welcome to America.
You know, this reminds me.
What?
I really want an R35.
Dude, I would love an
Yeah.
R35. I
They're
think
so
that's next
fun.
on the list, to
God,
be
they're
honest.
fun.
They're just such a
Ooh.
gorgeous car.
There's something about four-wheel drive, like high horsepower launches.
And they sound good, and
Dude,
they
they
got a lot
sound
of space.
incredible.
And that's the one thing. Nissan is one of the best manufacturers. I'll die on this hill. Nissan is one of the best Japanese manufacturers to buy secondhand cars.
Ooh, okay.
I just think they are.
Okay.
That's an interesting, bold statement.
Because I look at their reputation on every single car, and it's always the same.
I guess
240Z, 260Z, 280Z, all great second, third-hand cars until they got collector status.
Yep.
300ZX was a great second-hand car until they got over-engineered. 350Z, iconic grassroots car. 370Z, iconic grassroots car. The 400Z, you can't get, but I bet you in 10 years when they finally have some good volume out there,
Yeah, when they're
going to be a $30,000, 550 horsepower car that you can
because
buy.
the 370Z sat in that higher price bracket for a while.
Yep.
I remember like you couldn't touch those things for under like 30.
The Nismos still
Long
are.
time. Oh yeah, the Nismo still are. But now you can scoop one up for like 15, 20. Obviously they have some miles on them, but it's like, you know, those have come down quite a bit.
But they're solid cars. Like,
Yeah, they're
it's one of those
awesome
cars
cars.
that loves to be beat on. Like, I would have no problem getting one of those.
Also, I love the way they look.
Yes.
I think the 350, 370 look is so... What we think of iconic 90s design, when I think about the 2000s...
It's going to be that.
It's the 350Z.
Yeah,
It just has
100%.
to be. I just don't think there's anything else that has that same style.
When I think of like your stereotypical, two-door coupe, we were talking about FRSs right now. I think in the 2000s, the 350Z was it.
Yeah.
It's the first car that pops in mind.
Well, you guys can tell us if we're wrong, because I think a lot of times people compare that car to say, well, no, the S2000 is prettier. And it's like,
Okay.
yeah, but that's timeless. That car looks good as a 2022 car just as much as a 2001. The Nissan 350Z looks like the perfect early
Sure,
2000s
yeah.
car, and just that. It doesn't look like it would be made today.
Yeah, Honda did hit it just right with the S2000. I don't know what it is, but
They put
damn, that
some-
car looks good.
Yeah, they also let that one die in its prime. So like 350Z,
Typical.
370Z, like
They went on for a while.
they still make them now, don't they? The 370.
No,
No,
just
the new Z took
Okay,
over.
yeah. But like S2000, they made what, like 2 versions of them, right? The AP1 and 2, and then for like 5 years total or something like that.
Yeah,
they
it
had
wasn't
a
very
couple-
long.
They had a couple trims, and they're like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
They're like, we know that the U.S. economy is about to crash.
They knew.
We're investing in the Civic.
Which is
Everybody
one of
go.
the reasons I think that one will be timeless, like forever.
Yeah. Well, cool. We're going to take a small break, but not before talking about our second partner of the MartiniWorks podcast. Giles, take it away.
Which is, of course, Fortune Auto. If you guys have,
Conti. Oh, sorry.
no, that was before.
I'm
What
sorry.
the
I
hell?
forgot, and I
Oh,
told
I know he
Dakota I
works-
would do it.
I'm very proud of you for doing it, actually.
Thank you.
You always seem like a hit, but I know
I would never do it again.
Anyway, Fortune Auto, the suspension partner for Martini Works. We got it on pretty much all of our cars, and there's a reason for that. It's because they make fantastic suspension solutions for pretty much anything out there. If you're looking for something just to get around daily driving, want a little bit more performance on it, want a nice ride quality, the 500 series got you covered. If you're going to the track quite a bit, you want something to be able to dial in while you're out there, the 510 is where you're going to be at. They're all custom built for you. You can, get pretty much anything that you want. If you want Swiss spring upgrades, if you want custom valving, custom damping, any of that kind of stuff, let them know what you're going to use the car for. They can help you get that set up, and it's absolutely awesome. And it's pretty much a lifetime product because you got the set of coilovers, you can get them rebuilt, you can get them upgraded, you can literally bring them with you in your car for the rest of your life if you want to, if you just never sell your cars like I do. So yeah, Fortune Auto, fantastic coilover option. You can check it out at MartiniWorks.com, and thanks for sponsoring this podcast.
It's time to hit you with the truths.
What does that mean? Don't hit me.
All right? Is there a car brand or type of car you just refuse to buy?
Oh yeah.
Convertibles.
Oh,
Really?
you have an S2000.
Doesn't count.
Why doesn't it count?
I got rid of the convertible part.
It kind of makes sense. I wouldn't classify the S2000 as a convertible.
You've had a bunch of convertibles. How many Miatas have you owned?
6.
They're all convertibles.
Yeah, wait a
aren't
minute.
they?
Yeah, doesn't count.
Why doesn't it count?
Because it's just so good because it's a good car, not the fact that it's a convertible.
For anybody wondering, every time this man drove a Miata since I've known him, the top has been down.
Yes, absolutely. Because there's just one way to live. Here's the thing, though.
Okay.
I just don't like convertibles. I just refuse to buy
They're weird looking.
a convertible, like a new convertible. I am buying a Miata because it's a Miata. It just so happens to be a convertible. I'm not looking for convertibles and saying I'm buying a Miata. There's a difference.
I can agree with that though, because always, the convertible versions of a car are always worse.
Objectively.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very ugly.
Yeah, there's never been like where there's been both options of like a coupe or a convertible. I'm like, dude, the convertible looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite part is the 22 seconds it takes for the thing to come down just so that I can keep
Oh
the
my
car
God.
moving.
I will say I've always wanted to have like a hardtop convertible because like all the cars I like come in convertibles, like the M3s and such.
Yeah.
I have this fantasy, right? That I'm gonna pull up at a traffic light, and I'm gonna pull my top down while I'm waiting at the traffic light, and just to confuse people.
Uh-huh.
I just think it'd be funny.
It's a fantasy.
That's a fantasy.
Yeah.
We have different fantasies.
My fantasy involves a convertible.
Thoughts on Targa tops?
Targas?
They're just convertibles without all the work.
I'm just my thought is, what's the fucking point?
It's not cheaper, is it?
No.
There's no way it's cheaper.
No.
It's just like, let me just take off this section of my roof.
The funniest part about those is when you take the roof off, you have to take it with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
My-
Or, like put it in the
Space
back of the
board.
trunk. Yeah. Well, they usually have like a spot that they like lock into, but it's just like,
But it's a piece of glass.
I get sometimes like it kind of looks really cool on certain things, but it's like,
Lotus Elise.
sure. Like the Mark IV Supras, I think some of them had it.
Sure.
Corvettes.
300ZX.
Yeah. So, but it's just like, the fuck is the point?
My worst issue with Targas is a personal vendetta.
I feel like Targas are halfway to being a Jeep person.
You know who
Just
got
like, I'm going to take it off for the sake of taking it off.
Because you can. And then you want to know what I'm going to do to let everybody know that I don't have a roof in a certain section? I'm going to take my right hand.
Just,
Yeah, they all do it. They all do it. You know who got the Target top right?
I'm better than everyone.
The Ford GT, because this is part of the door. If you want your roof open,
Yeah.
just open the door.
At the stoplight.
Yeah,
Look at how much cooler I am.
yeah. I mean, I don't hate T-tops. It's just, I never really understood them.
I don't mind T-tops at all, but I do have a personal vendetta with them. And just older 90s convertibles in general. You see, my hair takes the form of a cockatoo when there's any sort of a wind. When there's no wind, my
That's
hair
why
is
we keep
perfect.
you inside.
But the moment there's a gust of side wind, it just goes, my antenna comes straight up. I get 5G in the brain. And so I always have to wear a hat. The problem is I don't like hats. It gives me a headache because I'm a little Nancy with things on my head.
you think you're maybe just wearing the hat too tightly?
No, because if you wear the hat too loosely, my head looks too big. I've done the research.
Oh,
I've been at this for a few years.
done the work.
Been trying
Yeah.
to crack the
I've
code.
been trying to crack the code. There's one hat that I bought at Utterly Euro back in like 2020, 2019. That actually, I mimicked one of the Martini Works hats. The new Martini Works racing hat is from the BMW Performance School style, which I really, really like. That one doesn't give me a headache because you see how it has the scallop cut is a little bit higher, so it prevents this.
These are really, this is like the most comfy hat that
Yes,
I own.
because the flat brims, they come across my huge forehead.
They just-
And I got just so much computing power in there that it needs to flex up and flex down like Megamind.
Yeah.
The only other hat that can do that is the hat that I bought at Utterly Euro. It's that maroon hat you'll see me wearing anytime
I do
we're at
see,
the track.
I do see you wear that a lot.
All the track videos, take a helmet off, hat on.
Yeah,
that's it.
maroon hat, always on. But that one has been a really nice second option. The only problem is my wife keeps stealing it, and she won't give it back.
Those hats were a passion project.
Yeah.
Like those didn't just happen. Like we wanted those hats.
Yeah,
so we
and
ran.
they're cool. They got the little
they're awesome.
Martini Works racing and the
all like
and the
nice
teal in
and
between.
it's like sharp. Like
yeah.
good.
It took us a long time to make those. So those will be at
So-
Gatlinburg, by the way. And if you're listening, you can't see it. It's a really cool looking hat.
sick.
I suppose. Shit. Anyway, so hats, convertibles, Target tops. Lars, what vehicles do you just hate with a burning passion?
I'm gonna, as I do on the podcast. Apparently, I'm gonna make somebody mad here.
Oh,
Right?
huh? Yeah, do it.
Pickup trucks, but specific pickup trucks.
Oh.
The 150s, the 1500s, like the regular side. And here's why. They don't do anything well. Right? Anybody who tows often or like a lot of things, I'm not saying big things. Anybody who tows frequently.
Okay.
Like your car to the track,
Yeah.
whatever. They really want a 250. They just didn't want to spend the extra money.
Right.
And anybody who daily drives their truck should have a Maverick.
I mean, okay.
That's actually a good point.
That
I would
agree with the second half of that statement.
30 miles per gallon and all-wheel drive in a truck. That's really what you want.
You want a Ute, but we don't have those.
Yes.
So get a mini truck.
Yes. Nobody's putting all the bullshit about putting lumber in the back of your... Nobody drives the trucks like that. Nobody puts stuff in the back of the truck. When you go to a grocery store with a pickup truck, an F-150, right?
Where do you put the groceries?
In the back seat.
Yeah. All the time.
Trucks are
I ain't never see someone loading groceries in the bed of their truck.
Only thing in the bed of a
Unless
truck...
they're going to Costco.
Yeah. The only thing in the bed of the truck
everything's on a
usually
pallet.
is whatever they forgot to offload and put in their garage. Just random garbage.
It's
that
just a
acts-
collection
shit.
of items.
Yeah.
It's lawn chairs, a random assortment of like 2x4s,
A gas tank.
a gas tank, probably like a circular saw maybe.
Yeah. There's no tools back
and like
there.
a couple crushed cans of Mountain Dew.
Exactly.
I would agree with you. I think the best part for me is when I was actually going through the process of buying a truck, and I realized there's like these 1500s that are good enough. They can haul,
Yeah.
a
They
car
can do
and a
it.
trailer. They can do it. It's just not gonna like it.
Right.
It's gonna do it. It's just it's whatever.
It's the same
You're
thing.
doing it every day.
It's the same thing as when you buy like a sedan, right? Because you're thinking you're gonna have your friends in the back seat, right? And they get in the back seat and they drive like this, right? Right, and if you're listening, my head's very crooked right now.
It's why SUVs got so popular. Everybody was like, I just don't know why SUVs got so... It's because it's just a better sedan. At the end of the day, people had realized that getting in anything that was smaller than an S5 was uncomfortable. You get in the back of an S4, you're not comfortable. You get in the back of an RS3, you better chop off your legs because that's the only way you're going to fit in that car.
You know what's more practical than an F-150 or any of those series of trucks?
What?
This is a hot take. You're making like a teaser out of this. Ready?
Just say it.
A minivan.
Dude, yeah.
They're
I've been looking at
actually
vans.
practical. You take out the rear two rows, and you can put more stuff in that than any truck.
I think that's the reason why every like newer van is like 40 grand and
Yeah.
they just stay that way.
Those are legit amazing utility vehicles.
You know what one of my favorite vehicles I ever owned was?
What?
A Ford station wagon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You don't know why?
Just
Because that
everything.
some bitch was a 5-speed manual.
Hell yeah.
It was this awkward seal green. It had the e-brake up by the shifter, not the foot one.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, because there's a manual.
Yeah.
You don't know what that meant? That
yeah.
front wheel drive some bitch could slide around any corner in high school. And you want to know the
sir.
best part? You fold down those back seats, you had like 6.6.
Easy.
You had enough space for lumber.
Oh. Not going there.
The
I
truth
might go there.
it's wild to me. I would agree. The truck thing is always a little interesting. Now, new trucks. There's a new one that's like, it's got the small Cummins turbo. That thing can haul like 14,000 pounds.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting to where towing capacity needs to be on an F-150. Because unless you get an aluminum trailer and you have a light car, you really are already pushing up to that mark. If you were to get like a steel trailer and you had a car in there that weighs like any sports coupe nowadays seems to weigh like 3,600 pounds.
Yeah. I mean,
So
legit. Yeah.
with a steel trailer and a car, one car, and it's enclosed, you're at like 8,000 pounds, 9,000 pounds, and you don't want to be at your maximum towing capacity. You want to have a little bit of space for the brakes, and I would agree. I think F-150s are a little. I did see one that I thought was actually hilarious.
Yeah.
I saw 4 F-150s come through the Culver's drive-thru as Becca and I were having our custard
Oh, yeah.
outside. Every single one of them. You want to know how many people were in the truck?
How many? Yeah. That's my biggest complaint.
What's that have to do with it?
There was one.
These are the same people that
Because
complain
these are
about-
like, they're functional vehicles. Like they're meant to have like a purpose, right? That's the whole reason that like 70% of the thing is
Yeah.
a box. And then you want to know how many of them had stuff in the back?
none.
None of them.
But that's the thing, right? What aggravates me with these and why I'm calling them out is because these are the same people that complain about gas prices, right? And they have a V8 pickup truck that's like 6,000 pounds, gets 15 miles to the gallon, and they're like, man, I got to fill this thing up again? Like, yeah, you're driving a truck. Go buy a Prius, dude.
Damn.
Priuses are kind of good.
You know what's really
I
practical?
like the new Prius.
wagons. I want
Love
them.
wagons.
I want them.
Wish we had
You
more
want to know
wagons
what's not
over here.
I
practical?
want the M5 wagon.
The price of wagons.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, anything cool is expensive.
My favorite part is I saw on Facebook Marketplace yesterday, they're like, this is the most affordable Cadillac CTSV. Yes, it has 111,000 miles. Yes, it has been in an accident. No, it wasn't totaled. Yes, it is the most basic color. Yes, it is $42,000.
yikes.
No, sir.
I'm good.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
Nope.
What? Why?
What was it, like a 2008?
It was a pretty one, but still, it's nothing makes sense anymore. Okay, here's a good one. Thieves steal racing team's big rig, holding 1.5 million in Porsche race cars.
Ow.
That's a fucking
Hey,
heist.
You want to
Where
guess?
was this hypothetically?
South Florida.
Dustin, let's go to South Florida.
This is insane. So the thieves strolled onto the parking lot of a race garage in Florida and stole a tractor hauling a trailer that contained 4 Porsche race cars. The contents of the trailer are worth about $1.5 million, according to a professional racing team,
I mean, that checks out.
Rennsport.
Alex, that's not real. That's promotion for GTA 6.
Oh my god.
Could you
Holy fuck.
imagine that? You don't even know what you're stealing.
Yeah,
You just
you
know you're-
imagine being those guys? We sold what?
Yeah.
I thought we were just getting a semi truck.
There's
Imagine
a
trying to
different-
sell those. Like those were all like serialized.
Yeah,
and, like,
there's a
they're
difference
marked.
between
You're not going to do anything with it.
Yeah, there's a difference between like those stupid idiots that will go and steal like 80 wheels off every single Hellcat at a Dodge dealership.
Oh, yeah. And then just post them.
And then they just like spread them out across. It's like you're never gonna find that. You are gonna find the one of one Rennsport race car on
Yeah.
Facebook Marketplace
Yep.
in Florida. It's like we're selling the engine. Nobody will know. It's like, oh, nobody will know.
Really?
Like the bored out 4.2 naturally aspirated Porsche motor.
Yeah.
That's bold.
On that note, though, I stumbled across a Facebook group, and I thought this was a joke, but I don't think it was a joke. It was all about like stolen cars. Like they didn't even try to hide it. It was literally like it'd be like, 2019 Dodge Challenger Hellcat, all the 9 yards.
Oh, yeah.
22,000 miles on it, $5,000. Don't ask any questions. Like, oh, and there was like a Cybertruck, $3,000. It was
Jesus.
like anything you can imagine.
Lars, get off that website.
I was just on there. It was just funny, and as more and more people joined, it just got like more and more funny because
Yeah.
people started adding like nonsense. But I'm pretty sure at the beginning of this,
It was kinda
a
real.
legit like page where people sold stolen cars.
Jesus Christ.
Crazy.
I would just say, the second top comment on that Reddit post was exactly what you said. They're like, don't be fooled. This is just the starting quest to GTA
Yeah,
6.
I mean, it honestly kind of sounds like it's going to be based in like Miami, like Florida.
Yeah.
Like, that literally sounds like a fucking heist that you would do with your friends.
GTA 6 reminds me of South Park predicting, things that happen in today's. I swear to God, GTA 6, the guys are like, well, what should the quest be about? And somebody's like, well, let's just go to Florida news and let's just see what's happening.
We got a Rennsport auto theft before GTA 6.
What's your earliest memory when you realized you were a car person?
Earliest memory. I can go first.
Yeah, go for it, Lars.
So I remember being at my father's apartment, and in the corner, like the far corner of the lot, like on a little like hill almost, there was a I don't even know what the color's called because I've never seen another one since, but it was like a baby blue E30 convertible. Funny enough, and I remember looking at that. Right, you're in a parking lot of a poor neighborhood, right, and like there's all a bunch of like random cars, and there was like a pristine like BMW sitting there, and I was like, that's cool. And I was like, I want that. Why can't we drive one of those? I was like, I'm gonna get one. Let's see what it's like. And then of course the whole E46 story kind of cemented it from there.
Gels?
Man, I'm trying to think if there was like a key moment where I was like, oh, I do like this. I think it was kind of like on and off, but I feel like I specifically remember walking out of the movie theater with my dad when we watched Tokyo Drift, and I was like, that was badass. And my dad's like, that was badass. I was like, I like that. That was probably it.
Yeah.
That was probably it.
I would say the first time I really liked cars, it was actually the day I got my license. And I remember getting the keys. I had my Mercedes-Benz 300E that was immaculate, one owner. And I remember my family, like, they congratulated me, and then, like, they just went home. And I was sitting in this gas station a mile off from North High School. And I remember looking at the key and being like, I can go anywhere.
Yeah.
And it was just such a mind-boggling thing.
Yeah.
And I got in the car, and I turned it on, and I was sitting here in this car, and I thought to myself, I can go anywhere I want. And I was by myself, and I'm like, the flow, the freedom that I had. And you want to know what I did?
What'd you do?
I went to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Good
Peak.
choice.
That was
Good
peak B-dubs back
when it
in the
was
day.
really
Not
good.
before is whatever the hell's going on. The burgers are better than the wings nowadays.
Weird. I don't.
And then I remember, I would say watching the prelude to the Fast and the Furious was really my, like, I'm going to get into this. Not just I like it. I watched the prelude. I saw the 3K GT, and I was like, I'm going to own that.
Yeah.
And an act of God, a couple weeks later, I remember seeing a 3K GT for sale right off the corner of North High School, and I bought it in 2 days.
Yeah, I would say it was like the video games and the movies like got me into everything. I was like, this is really cool, you know. But then like growing up and stuff like that, it's like obviously I'm 12 years old. I'm not thinking about going to buy a car. And I remember specifically like when I was going through like driver's ed, there was like, I don't know, for whatever reason we had an assignment. It was like, I want you to bring 3, if you were to go buy like a used car for yourself, we want you to bring like 3 examples of what you get. So kind of like get us into like thing, like what's reliable, what's safe, what's like a good, economy. And I remember looking, I was like, their cars fucking suck. I'm like, I'm going to get some cool cars. So I like remember like searching, I was like SRT4s. Instead of like a regular Neon, and it was like, like a Civic Si, and it was like all this kind of shit. And I was like, yeah, these are real cars that I could legit go buy. Like, that's kind of crazy. Holy shit, I can go drive these cars. That's fucking nuts. And then I think that was like the moment where it was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that level of freedom is understated though nowadays.
Yeah.
Like you just kind of get used to it. But 'cause now when you said that, I had the exact same experience. Right, I was in the parking lot of the DMV still, and I had a Dodge Intrepid.
nice.
As the first car.
Sick.
Yeah.
Those had the
Let's be clear. The Dodge Intrepid, very cool rear bumper trunk design because it had that arched hook.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then it kind of carved in a little bit. The Intrepid looked
the older
fast.
one. The older one.
Oh, so not the newer one.
Oh no, it was bad.
I was gonna say,
The
dude,
transmission slipped as long.
Intrepid SS
The
or something.
Intrepid or the Stratus that also had the 420A.
The Stratus did.
Stratus.
Yeah, it was definitely
because
not-
they had like the Stratus like RT or something.
Yeah, I wanted one of those too.
Yeah.
Anything that had a cool acronym.
But I remember sitting there and like the same experience, right? I had the keys and I was like, where am I gonna go? And just that realization of anywhere. I can do whatever I want.
And where did you go?
The car dealership to look for BMWs. I'm not even kidding.
Still pretty sick.
Right, this was not my car. It was somebody else's car I was borrowing for the test. So the first thing that popped in my head is like, I want a BMW.
Yeah.
Did you get one?
Not until a couple months later, but it wasn't E46.
A couple months, not bad.
E46 was the first car. Yeah.
Damn.
I stretched really hard for it, but it was kind of out of spite, right?
Yeah.
Everybody said I couldn't,
So I
I
did.
did it.
That's the greatest story, and hopefully you guys can share a time where if you're still here on the YouTube comments, or if you want to shoot us a message, is that first experience with your first car. And I think what's most important, if you have a build story, like if you have a modified car you're very proud of, and it's got a story and it's got modified parts on it, add it to our build threads at MartiniWorks.com. Tell us that story. Tell us what car parts you have, because those build threads are what's helping people who don't know how to build their car, how to build their car. And we're doing that with you guys, one car at a time. But we need you to tell us your build story, because right now we're getting a lot of cool cars, but they're not telling us why or how you built it.
You know what we should do?
What?
We should start telling those fucking stories on the podcast.
Ooh,
That'd be sick,
that's a
yeah.
good idea. I
We're
like
gonna do
that a lot.
Starting next episode, I'm gonna pull one because I go through all of them. I'm gonna pull one that I really like, and we're gonna read it.
Cool.
And we're gonna talk about it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you guys want yours shared, go at it. Spend some time on it. Be proud of the pictures that you send us, because if it's some sort of shaky bullshit at 10 o'clock at night, I'm going to cry.
If you send me a screenshot from Snapchat, I'm deleting your account.
And we're actually currently working on updating the process to add your build stories. So if you guys have any feedback for us, now's the time. We're rebuilding the whole thing from the ground up. It's gonna be much better going forward. So
Hell yeah.
let us know what you guys want to see out of that, and we'll see what we can do.
Very cool. Well, we hope you guys appreciated this episode of the Martini Works podcast. Lars, thank you for coming on board. And if you guys are looking for car parts or gals, please mount your car over at MartiniWorks.com. If you're looking for wheel and tire packages, we do mount and balance them for free. If you're looking for authentic car parts, we have those as well. And if you're looking for something and you don't see it on the website, just shoot us a message. We'd be happy to chat with you, talk with you, make sure that you're getting the right stuff. That's what we're all about here at Martini Works, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.